Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Get Real with Andy. I have a really special guest here, Vistiana Long, all the way from
Romania.
Romania. And she's joining me here. She traveled all this way just to be on this podcast. And so today we're going to talk about, well, tell us about yourself, Vistiana. Tell us what your name means. Tell us everything about yourself.
Oh, I'd love to tell you what my name means if I knew.
Okay.
I'm, yeah, I'm happy to be here with you and have the chance to share our knowledge, our insights, our brainstorming,
Go
whatever
ahead,
will
say
this
it.
happen.
Share our wisdom.
Yeah, actually, that was the word. I thought
I
it was
know
too
it
bold
was too
and
bold. It
too,
is bold.
yeah, and like people might think we are not modest enough.
Yeah, but we
We
are,
we are not modest, actually.
no, we're modest. We're humble. We're way humble than everybody watching.
Yeah, we are very humble of being humble, especially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially. And I think I might be a little more humble than you are.
No, I am more humble.
Okay, moving right along. Our topic today, because Visiana is a therapist and I'm a therapist. And so we thought, let's do a therapist topic.
Yeah, a therapist topic is always interesting, but when you put two therapists together, is wow.
There's the making of a joke, right? Two therapists walked into a bar. I don't know the end of that joke.
Oh.
All right, the topic that we've thought of, because we both work similarly. I've taken a little workshop with Vistiana, and you're delightful in how you do your work. You're so gentle, and yet, oh God, I almost wanted to say intrusive, but you're gentle with your intrusiveness.
No,
And
that's
I take that, I mean, I give that as a compliment.
yeah, I take it as a compliment because as a therapist, this combination actually recreates what we needed in our childhood. We need challenge and softness. How do we call it in English?
It's the word in Romanian.
Blândețe,
Blendete?
blândețe. How do we say it in English? It's like a soft caress, kindness.
Oof. No, I'm professional. I can do this. Oh, soft kindness. Yeah, it's like a
Gentleness.
gentleness. There you go.
Gentleness, yeah,
All
that's
right.
the
And
word.
then we also wanted to,
Yeah,
uh,
sorry. So we need boldness and challenging and gentleness in a good combination.
yes,
Sorry. Yeah.
because look, if if our clients knew what was going on with them, they would just fix themselves and everything. So part of our job is to challenge that which they're not aware of.
Yeah.
And that's challenging. It happens to be fun, right? It's
Yes.
challenging,
Yes,
but it's
we do it in a fun way. Then that's what connects us the most because we are both creative and jokeful.
jokeful. It's
That's
not
a
a
new
word that
word.
so, but yeah, I like it. Jokeful. Why not?
Okay.
And then another thing we wanted to focus on is the mind-body connection, which has fascinated both Vistiana and me and the clients that we have worked with. And maybe we'll come up with some stories to illustrate what we're even talking about. Because some of my experiences were so woo-woo. They're so out there. I don't share them with many people, but I'm just happy to share them with all you millions of people watching because it's just it really it shows the vastness of the inner life and how it plays into our physical being. And as far back as the 1950s, there was a recognition in the medical world
Hmm.
that they named seven diseases that they called them the psychosomatic seven,
Oh.
which sounds like a superhero group. But
Okay, I'm happy to hear that because as far as I know and I noticed, the medical field doesn't seem to be concerned to be interested in the connection between emotions and body.
yeah.
So they um
So you're surprised to hear that even back in the 50s in America, somebody was thinking like that in the medical world.
yeah.
Aren't you curious what some of those seven things were?
Yes, please tell me.
One of them was asthma. The other one was migraine headaches. And the other one that I remember was stomach ulcers, peptic ulcers.
Mm-hmm.
The other two I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So they recognized that there was an emotional component to these things
Really?
way back then.
So what happened? They gave up their observations, or because they
Yes,
didn't seem to continue, even they seem to go the opposite way. Like they are, in my opinion, doctors became like more like mechanics to repair stuff, to treat isolated organs or
I
parts
know.
of body.
I've talked to heart surgeons who said, I don't know why people think what I do is so great. I'm like a plumber.
That's a good
And
metaphor.
it was humble of that
Yeah,
surgeon to say that.
that's humble indeed and
But
great to
he's
recognize.
so much of a specialist, like you were saying, that they repair little parts and they don't deal with the whole picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the kind of message we're talking about. There's a growing number of psychotherapists, and I think there's a growing approach. There's a recognition that the whole person is what's important, not just the parts. Don't
Y-
just fix the
Yeah,
parts.
well, the psychotherapists know well, more and more of them. Still, it seems to be a schisma. Is that a word?
It's close enough. Schism.
Schism between the medical field and the psychotherapy field. Like they don't really recognize each other. I think we are almost hostile to the medical field, at least I am.
Really? You're
Yeah.
hostile to the medical field?
Yeah, because it
You
makes me angry to see that.
really? You take a knife and take
No,
punch
not
out the
that
tires of
way, not
doctors and stuff?
that bad. But I am angry sometimes when I hear a person takes the child to the doctor because the child had, this was a real case.
Yeah.
I worked with this family, and they took the child to the doctor when the child was 4. When they came to me, the child was 10, but since 4 to 10, they gave him more and more medicines for the child's headache, and the child developed a lot of problems from this medication, and there were side effects and
Yeah.
more medication to the side effects, and at 10 the child already had some neurological problems. And actually when the problem started, that when the child had headaches at 4 years old, nobody asked the family what's going on in your family. It was a traumatized family with a heavy background from the original families, and there was a lot of tension and a lot of
But specifically, what makes you angry about that?
because nobody asked what's going on in the family. Nobody asks
The
the
basics?
family. Well, nobody asks the family when the child is has stomach pain or headache or high fever. What's behind? What's going on there? Because children, when they are, or a throat pain, uh, actually, yeah, the anger comes from my childhood.
Okay, now we're getting into it, baby.
Yeah, when I was a child, I was
Go ahead.
usually,
Let it out, Vistiana.
yeah, we always,
You're laughing, but I know you want to cry.
I might cry. I'm not shy to do that. It's just that, you see, there is always more and more to come out. So actually, yeah, uh, I got now in this moment to a point where I didn't get before. When I was a child, my mom was usually taking me to the doctor because my throat was inflamed, red, and I couldn't speak anymore, and my voice was
Uh-huh.
rugged,
Ragged.
ragged voice, yeah. And uh and they were giving me pills, and they were, I don't know, things. But then in 2 weeks I was doing again, and I was not allowed to eat ice cream, and when I was not allowed a lot of things, and they were saying, oh, and they were blaming me because I don't take care of myself, and I speak too much, or I speak or I do too much, or I eat too much, whatever. They were finding reasons. And actually, I was only when I was 30 and I started my therapy, I came to realize that I was not speaking my feelings because nobody could listen to me
Mhm.
and nobody was taking my feelings in consideration. And I had to shut down. I had to shut down to my feelings first. I shut down my expressing them, and then without expressing and being encouraged to get to know them and get connected to them, you shut down to feeling.
And you know, you might say as an adult, that's not that big a deal, let's just say. But as a kid, to not have
Actually,
anywhere to go with your feelings,
yeah, it's terrible. Even as
it's
an adult,
even as an adult,
even as
it's
an adult,
true.
because that story actually continued. And
Yeah.
when I was 30, I had a whole month when I couldn't speak anything. And I went to doctors and they told me I should have a biopsy to my
Larynx.
larynx,
Oh,
and that I might that it might be necessary to cut a part of the larynx because it was so inflamed and so. And then I had the chance to meet a person out of the blue, thank God, who made me cry and made me realize that I hadn't cried until then for the death of my father, which had happened when I was a child, and I never cried for that,
oh.
and I had blocked my those emotions, and then I blocked a lot of emotions.
And those feelings don't just go away because you get older.
Exactly, they don't. Actually, you keep on with that pattern with not expressing your emotions to people around you, not expressing it even to yourself. You don't get aware of it anymore.
But what
So
you're
when
also saying is that this can translate into physical ailment in your
absolutely,
throat.
absolutely.
Okay.
I had not only when I was a child, but all the time until 30, I was having problems with my throat until it got really bad, and the doctor said that I was
Needed it.
having needed that and that, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel so grateful that I didn't get to do that. And then I had this chance to become aware and to speak my emotions and to cry and to realize why what I needed to cry. And then when I got aware, since that time, I never had a problem with my throat again.
Yeah.
So I haven't taken any medicines since then for anything because everything now, anything I have in my physical body, I just know I have to become aware. What am I blocking? What am I stucking? What am I not aware about yet? And I just look at this, and when I become aware, the pain is gone. So I haven't had headaches for a long time, and I didn't have any throat with a problem, any problem anymore since that time when I started to cry.
Okay. That's a very personal experience of
Yeah,
this mind-body connection that we're
yeah,
talking about.
exactly. And I have a lot of experiences because that's how I treated myself since then. So everything, if something appears on my skin, it didn't appear for many years, but back then, I had some issues with my skin.
Is it psoriasis
Something like
or
that, yeah.
eczema?
Some
Rash. It
itchy
was a rash.
a rash, but it was going on, and
Uh,
I was using
Steroid cream and
yeah, exactly. And the doctors told me I will always have to treat it with the steroids and it will never go away.
yeah.
And actually I didn't have any problem anymore for many years because I realized how the skin is the border
Uh-huh.
of our body,
Yes.
and if we don't have other borders for our being to say, no, this is not for me, this doesn't suit me, I don't
Yeah.
feel respected, I don't want this, I don't, this is not comfortable to me, or whatever. If we don't put the borders at a comfortable distance from us, then the ultimate border of our body will express the problems for
So
us.
you're actually saying that our sense of boundaries as a human being is reflected because our skin is an actual boundary.
Thank you for translating it so beautiful
That the
for me.
boundary, it is one
Yes,
system, is what you're really
exactly,
saying.
exactly. If you don't feel and you don't express your energetical boundary in time, then you have to express it physically.
You know what I think of right now? There's a quote by by Woody Allen in one of his movies, and he said, "I don't do anger. I grow tumors instead."
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
And
it
it was
was
funny, but it was so spot on about what we're talking about here.
It's beautiful, and exactly this is what I wanted to say because if even the skin doesn't react, doesn't speak, the skin talks.
The skin
And if the
talks.
skin, if even the skin doesn't talk, or actually it talks, but you didn't don't hear it talking, and you still don't take yourself in consideration, and you still don't understand the language of your body, then it will go even deeper, and the organs or the tumors will start talking for your skin and for yourself.
Want to hear something cool that goes really along with what you just said?
Yes, please.
When people have skin conditions
Hmm.
and they get worse, the doctors will say your skin is screaming
Oh, that's beautiful.
because
I'm
it's just
happy
what you're
that
saying.
I'm happy that you tell me that the doctors say this because you rehabilitate the doctors for me actually because I
Oh, you've got, yeah, okay.
yeah, I felt this
This is
anger.
this is like rehab for you.
Yeah, this is therapy for me. It was not supposed to be like that, but it is, and I'm happy. Therapy comes sometimes when speaking to a therapist, therapy between, you know, we therapists, we always need therapy. And I am happy that I take therapy
Me too.
anytime when I
I have
need
a
it. And
therapist.
the podcast, yeah,
Hey, hi, Issa. Thank you. All right.
that's beautiful.
So, let's see, where do we go from here? Do you want to hear a really woo-woo story?
Hmm.
A really woo-woo mind-body story?
I wonder if it would be woo-woo to me because now things
Because nothing
became
is woo-woo for you now, because you've seen a lot.
that's true.
Okay.
You said it as a joke, but actually it's true.
No, I
Yeah.
meant it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm serious with you.
Yeah, actually it's I find it now so natural and so logical that it's
But I want to
yeah.
tell you a story
Yes, please.
that blew my mind. And I
Okay.
was already in this field accepting the mind-body connection as a reality.
Mm,
And I've worked with many people where I saw once they got to the emotional hidden parts, the physical part just unfolded and healed.
exactly.
Are we allowed to talk like that in a way? It's okay, but here's the woo-woo story. There was a woman who came to see me who had had asthma ever since she was a little girl, and she brought an inhaler
Mm.
with her to the session.
Yeah, of course, I think they need it, right?
Yes, and I said, please have it there. But I
Hmm.
did with her something that I don't do with everybody. I had her recline in a chair and I played some music. And I just said, I want you to just go into your body and find whatever it is whatever's there. There's something there that's driving this emotionally. If that's true, let's see if we can help you
Hmm.
get to that. And so I was playing this music, and some of it was violin sweet, and she started crying, and then suddenly she got agitated and was moving around in the chair. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "I feel like I'm running from somebody." And I said, "Okay, just be there. Go with it. This is your body giving you some information. Let's just explore it." And she said, I, I'm, I'm on a carriage being pulled by horses, and I'm going really fast because I'm being chased by a dangerous man, and I think he's my husband, and he's trying to kill me and hurt me. And I have my baby with me, and I'm running away. And I'm making the horse go faster and faster. And as she's telling me this, she's getting more agitated, like she's into it. And I don't know what's going on. I'm just
Mm.
listening. But I can tell that the emotional charge is real. She's starting to
Yeah.
sweat. She's having a body response
Yeah.
to all this. And she's making the horse go faster and faster until she says, "Oh no, the carriage is falling off of a cliff into a pond of water." And while she's in the water with her baby, she starts having an asthma attack in the room. She's gurgling like she's actually underwater.
Yeah.
And she wants to reach for her inhaler, but I said, hold off just for a minute if you can. Stay with it. So
Mm.
she was in the room with me, but
Mm-hmm.
also in this dreamlike state.
Mm.
And she then said, "My baby, I killed my baby. I killed my baby." And I could tell that that's what locked this whole thing into her body, into her
Mm-hmm.
system. And so I just said, I was, even if this is imagination, at least let's help her have a good imagination about it. So I said, connect with the soul of the baby. Is the baby angry at you? Is the baby holding you responsible for its death?
Mm.
And then when she connected with the baby, however she did that, she started crying and she started relaxing and she stopped gurgling
Mm.
and she said, "No, my baby forgives me." And she just kept saying that and she was crying, "My baby forgives me. My baby forgives me." And then she cried and cried. And then she sort of came out of the whole dream. And there she was in the room.
Mm.
And she never had asthma again. Okay, I told you it was woo-woo.
That she had never had asthma again. This is not woo for me, and it's not
Right.
woo for you too.
No, because I understand how,
But
but it
but
was
it's
that deep
but
emotional
yeah, exactly.
state.
But it's ooh, and it's so magical how these things work, how
So,
our mind works, how our connection works, how
was it
things
imagination?
and the
Was it a past life thing?
that's interesting. I you
What do you
didn't
think?
say I would have checked maybe just from our curiosity. I mean, if yeah, I would be curious and I would check what correspondent this has with the real life because
Oh,
I think usually there are some correspondents. So, but anyway, it's lovely. It's important what happened and that she was healed.
I did
So.
ask her to reflect on it
Mhm.
before she left.
Okay.
What did you think of all that? And she said, I don't know if that was imagination or a past life, but it was real. That's what she said.
Yeah. I believe from my experience, I noticed that actually this imagination has a correspondent in the present life,
But you mean
no,
to their
anyway.
history somehow?
Yeah, it could be a traumatic event even when she's in the womb. And it's true, this can't be checked always, but sometimes we know that our mothers almost lost the pregnancies, or our mothers were trying to get rid of the pregnancy and
Yes.
they couldn't, and they had to carry on with the baby, or they didn't want, or the father didn't want the child, and
Oh
her
man.
and that this is what the baby actually lived in the womb. So sometimes when we know these stories and we check with the family, we find this happened. So the imagination, in my opinion, the imagination is never just imagination.
Okay.
So
You're triggering something in me.
tell me.
When my daughter was 12, she was living with me. Her mother, we took turns having her in different states. It was a little weird. But she came to me and she saw that I was doing healing circles.
Mm,
And one time she did something stupid and I punished her to make her come and she had to sit in the corner while I did my healing circle. But she came over and she said, "I want to take my turn." And or I'm mixing some stories, but the essence is the same. She said, "I want to." She had an experience in the healing circle that was really powerful for her. And then later, when she came to live with me for the summer, she said, there's something I want to clear up in myself."
mm,
She said, "Sometimes I have this horrible feeling that God doesn't want me to be here. And I thought, what the heck is that? So I had a few people who agreed to, we were holding acupressure points on her and breathing and playing some music because that really seems to help. And um, she got into this really funny state. She was moving her mouth and I thought, what's going on? What's going on? And um, she got in touch with the feeling that God doesn't want me to be here. And then I knew what it was. I knew it.
You didn't want her to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her mother and I were not married. She
Mm.
got pregnant, and I thought, okay, my life is over. She has to have an abortion. I
Yeah.
don't know. I do not want this child to be
Yeah.
here. We went to the abortion clinic,
Yeah.
and that's when her mother changed her mind and said, I can't do
Mm.
this. And so then when I remembered that, which I had never told my daughter,
Mm.
I confessed that to her. And I said, that wasn't God. That was me. And I was stupid. I didn't meet you. I hadn't met you yet.
Mm.
I was stupid and I didn't want you, but I really want you. I really, really want you now, you know. And so she cried and I cried. And then it was over. She sat up, she blew her nose and she said, I'm glad that's over. And we all just laughed. And she never had that feeling that God doesn't want me to be here again, ever, because she integrated it. And it wasn't God. It was just, but that's how a fetus would experience the father
Yeah.
not, I mean, I'm sorry.
Don't
You
be
can
it.
debate the mind-body connection, but I know and you know that this is just a reality and we help our clients get to it. If there's something to get to, we help them get to it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Because if you want to get through it, you've got to get to it.
Mm. Get through it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Say it with me.
If you
You want
want
to
to
get
get
through
through
it,
it,
you
you have
gotta
to
get
get to
to
it.
it.
Yeah.
All right. This is what else do we want to talk about anything else? Have we made our point?
Have we made our point?
I think we've made our point. I feel
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah, there's a lot more to
Oh
say.
God, yes.
Yes,
I mean,
always, always. Yeah, uh, I feel a little guilty, like putting the doctors in a bad light.
oh yeah.
And I want to bring that again and to express some gratitude to the beautiful and wonderful things that doctors do. They save lives.
Okay.
They uh yeah, they save lives. They do great things. Still, when it comes to chronic illness, which
Yeah.
are usually an expression of the emotions through our through our bodies, that at that point they are shallow, and I shouldn't blame them for this. You know, I know about psychiatrists, about doctors when they have anxiety and panic attacks and things like this,
Oh,
or depressed. They take pills too. So
they
they are
take
not
pills too.
they are not mean or something. This is how they know the body should be treated, and sometimes I get um,
Upset,
yeah,
triggered.
yes, because I really wish people's stories get respected and expressed, and I know that's healing. So I don't like when people are treated with pills which just help them to continue to numb themselves when the body wants them to wake up. So I feel sad for that. Still, on in other ways they help a lot, and I wanted to recognize
Okay.
this.
So
So
just be nice to Vistiana. She doesn't mean to be mean to you. She really does appreciate you, doctors, and all the hard work that you do and all the ways you help people. But listen, there is a quote. You probably heard me say it the other night. It's more important to know what kind of a person has the disease than it is to know what kind of a disease the person has.
Yeah.
Do you know who said that?
I don't remember who said that.
Hippocrates,
Hippocrates, thank you.
540
Yes,
BC,
exactly.
the father of modern medicine,
Well, exactly. If even Hippocrates said that,
a long time ago.
yes, exactly.
So he was thinking holistically. It's more important to know the whole person than it is
Mm,
to just know some diagnosis.
why did the modern medicine forget this?
That's a good question. And it's the topic of our next podcast. No, that's just me putting it off.
Okay.
I don't really know
I
the answer to
suppose
that.
there should be a time to it, right? I mean, a
A
limit,
time
a lot,
limit?
yeah, a time limit.
I know we could go on and on.
Talking about limits, yeah. Otherwise,
I
we
know
could do this all the night,
we
and
could.
people can't stay here all the night,
I
even if
know.
we could.
If we could, let's do it. Let's do a marathon. Come on, get ready. We're doing a marathon. This is the podcast from, well, this is where you do it. You got to unbutton your top now too.
No, no, no.
Okay. Thank you. Love
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.